Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Zigbee2MQTT on the Raspberry Pi using a USB Zigbee dongle and a simple motion sensor. Now, Zigbee is a low power wireless communication protocol that smart devices can use to talk to each other, kind of like Bluetooth, but built for home automation. It's used in motion sensors, smart plugs, lights, thermostats, and other smart components. And devices using Zigbee typically form a mesh network so they can pass messages reliably and securely between one another and across rooms. The best part about it is with tools like Zigbee2MQTT, you do not need a proprietary hub. So you could run everything on the Raspberry Pi and get full control of your IoT system. By the end of today's tutorial, we'll have a sensor sending motion events to the Raspberry Pi using Zigbee, and this can form the basis of more complicated IoT and smart application projects. So no vendor app, no cloud nonsense, and no code will be used for today's tutorial. Before we get into the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting IoT and smart application content, and let's get started. So the only hardware we'll be using today is we just have a Raspberry Pi with a Zigbee USB 3.0 dongle. These are very common. You can find them on Amazon. And we're also using a Zigbee-enabled sensor, and that's just a PIR motion sensor, so it could determine if it's detecting motion from a human being on and off. Okay, so now that we have our hardware ready to go, we can just log into our Raspberry Pi. I'm just logging into my Raspberry Pi remotely. And once we are in our Raspberry Pi, just go to a terminal window and we just want to run some commands. So the first command we want to run actually is we just want to make sure our USB is there and connected properly. So we could just run this command. Looks like our USB is connected. And it has a really long name, so if you see that, it is good to go there. And once your USB is properly connected, what we can do is we just want to install Mosquitto MQTT. It's a MQTT broker, so this allows Zigbee to publish messages, and we need this to be able to send messages to the Raspberry Pi from Zigbee modules. So in order to do that, we just want to run sudo apt update. So we want to update our app installer on the Raspberry Pi. So go ahead and run this command first. And once your app is updated, we can install Mosquitto client. Okay, so it looks like it updated. So after it's done updating, we can just go and install Mosquitto and Mosquitto client. Go ahead and enter that. And then once Mosquitto is installed, we just want to enable it. So we could just go up here and then we could enable Mosquitto with sudo systemctl. And finally, once that is done, we just want to make sure that this is working as expected and it's listening to that appropriate channel. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to type in another command. And then we're just going to subscribe to a channel, and we just want to make sure Mosquitto is working. So this command is subscribe, so it's listening to a certain channel to get messages from a device. And this is an example channel where Zigbee would publish a message. So we can go ahead and click enter. And it looks like it's offline right now, but that's fine. It looks like it's able to run that Mosquitto command. So if you got to this point, your Mosquitto is installed properly. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we simply want to exit out of this Mosquitto sub, so we can hit Control-C, and we want to type in some more commands to install the git repository install npm or node to be able to run the project. So in order to do that, we're going to type in more commands. And by the way, guys, if you are watching this, all of the commands we're running are actually in the ShillehTek blog for free down below, so you can go ahead and click that so you do not have to copy along all of these long commands. So that is provided to you in the description down below. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in a series of commands right now, and that is to install git, install curl, and we're just going to type enter, and then we'll just navigate to the directory where we install the Zigbee2MQTT. So it looks like that is installed there. Okay, so now that that's installed, we can go ahead and install the node package. So we could just type in these commands, and this is just node.js. You may be familiar with this, and this is just pretty much to run a service that they provide to us using the node runner or the node backend service. And once that is done, what we want to do is we would just want to take a couple more commands here and install the dependencies for the project. So we could just install this npm. So this is required for the build. So we just do Control-C. And we can go back here and paste that in. And let's go ahead and install that. I believe I already have it installed. And once that is done installed, we could just go ahead and install. So you have to run this within the project directory. So we are in opt Zigbee2MQTT. You can go ahead and ignore that for now. And we could just go ahead and paste this in and do sudo npm install. And that will install all the required dependencies for the project. Okay, next up, once those are installed, we just want to go ahead and edit the configuration file. So we could just go ahead and type this command in, and this is the Zigbee2MQTT configuration YAML. Go ahead and click enter there, and we just have a bunch of lines here. We're not going to get into too much though. Pretty much the only one you want to replace here is you want to make sure, first of all, that your network keys match. So the first time editing this file, you should see some network keys and PAN IDs. So just keep those as they are. They may be a little different. I'm actually not too sure about that, but just keep what you have for those values here. And the other thing you want to replace pretty much is you want to replace this port. So this port is just the path to your device that we went over at the beginning with the first command. So this is just the path to the USB dongle, and we just have the adapter as well for that specific USB dongle. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is the same. And I do have an example of this configuration file on my GitHub page. So if you don't want to copy all that in, you see I have the same configuration file here. You could just take it and edit it. And once you're done editing that, you could just do Control X, and then it's just going to ask you if you want to save it, and then you just click Y and then click enter. And now your configuration YAML is ready to go. So after we have the configuration YAML, we just want to start Zigbee. So at this point, everything should be set up and ready to go. So we could start Zigbee2MQTT. So we are in that directory, I believe, and we could just go ahead and sudo npm starts. So let's go ahead and copy this command, and we can go ahead and start it. So go ahead and copy that in to the terminal and click enter. And hopefully we did everything properly. Okay, it looks like the app is running successfully now. So the next thing we want to do is we just want to go to another terminal window, and we want to type in this ifconfig command in a terminal, and this will give us the IP address of our Raspberry Pi. So go ahead and copy your IP address from the iNet area. So yours might be slightly different. So this is my IP address. And then we just want to go to a browser right here on my local computer. So I was accessing my Raspberry Pi through my local computer, so just ignore that. So I'm on the same computer because I have access to my Raspberry Pi from my Mac. And I just switched to Chrome on my MacBook. So I'm going to join the Zigbee2MQTT UI dashboard. I'm going to log into it and view it on my Chrome. And you could just type in the IP address you got from the ifconfig command, followed by port 8080 and then hashtag as you see here. So go ahead and enter that in Chrome or Safari or whatever. And the next thing we want to do is we just want to pair the device to Zigbee2MQTT. So you see it's in my hand right now, flashing blue, and we just want to, first of all, let's disable join, and then we just want to permit join because I had that on earlier. So make sure permit join is clicked, and give that a moment for the device to be connected to the network. So it does take a moment sometimes, and once it's done, it'll stop flashing blue there. So it looks like it did join successfully, so that is great. And you see it has a bunch of information regarding the manufacturer, IEEE address, friendly name, which you can change. And you can just go ahead and ignore these errors at the beginning. I don't know why it does this. I haven't really troubleshooted that, but the sensor does work. So just let those subside, and it looks like our device is connected to the network. Okay, so now that the motion sensor is connected, I let it sit in my bedroom for about a minute just on my bed. And what would happen is if I went and walked into my bedroom right now, it should detect me. In order to see all the messages coming from Zigbee2MQTT, we could just do a simple command in another terminal window as the app is running. So this is back on our Raspberry Pi, and we just want to do Mosquitto sub-t Zigbee2MQTT / hashtag to get all the messages coming into Zigbee2MQTT. So we just want to go ahead and click enter now. So we have a bunch of mumbo jumbo here, so you could just go ahead and ignore that. So let me go walk into my bedroom, and you should see occupancy is true from this motion sensor. So I will be back in a second just to show you that works. So I just walked back, and you see by the time I'm back, we see that occupancy is true. So it looks like it is detecting motion and sending to Zigbee2MQTT in real time. And eventually, once that motion is not triggered anymore, which takes some time with these motion sensors, I believe there's a setting where you can tell it to go back to low position, which is occupancy is off. It will show that within the log. So give that a moment within the logs to show here that finally occupancy is off, and then we can confirm everything is working as expected. So give it a second, and we see finally that occupancy is false. So looks like everything is good. We set up our motion sensor, and it was able to send messages using Zigbee with the free Zigbee2MQTT framework. So there you have it, everyone. That's a wrap for today's tutorial. I hope you saw how incredibly simple it was to integrate a Zigbee-based sensor with Zigbee2MQTT on the Raspberry Pi. If you learned something new or you got your sensor set up successfully, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot for your continued support. And let us know what you want to see in the future as well in the comment section. We will hopefully make more videos on Zigbee if you guys are interested. And of course, we'll continue to make more interesting tutorial and content in the IoT space. If you guys need more help in your IoT projects, more advanced help, you can hire us on ShillehTek.com in the consulting section. So go down to the link below and you will see the consulting tab on ShillehTek where you can reach out to us, let us know your problem, and we can give you a quote to help you on your IoT integration projects. That is a wrap, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.